Welcome back to Trend Hacker. What if, in the year 2034, touch itself could be digitized? Could this be the answer? Could technology replicate the connection she and many more aches for? Desperation wars with skepticism, but in a world that feels increasingly cold, even the simulation of human touch holds a strange allure. Let us start the story. Barcelona, 2034. Sarah's cramped apartment shrinks further in the evening's bluish glow. The multiple screens, instead of providing comfort, only intensify her isolation. The unopened boxes, remnants of her recent move, aren't just physical objects, but a stark reminder of the emotional baggage she has yet to confront. A tear escapes her eye, and Sarah's gaze falls on the picture frame in her hand. It holds a smiling face, not hers, but her beloved Gran's. The crinkle of her eyes, the gentle curve of her mouth, all so familiar, now painfully distant. It's been 2 months since her grandmother's passing, and the ache in her heart only grows. Sarah's fingers trace the frame's edge, then instinctively curl into a fist. Gran had always been the antidote to the world's harshness. Even on the worst days, Sarah could rely on the warmth of her embrace, a hug that seemed to dispel anxieties like a soothing balm. Gran wasn't just a grandmother to Sarah, she was her best friend, confidant, and source of strength. Everyone I love is just gone, she whispers, the words hanging in the stagnant air of her apartment. Switching off the newsfeed with its cheery updates feels inadequate. Entertainment articles, social media, and curated snippets of other people's happiness feel like salt in an open wound. The fresh start she chased by moving to this city turns stale, the initial wave of excitement drowned out. Sarah's eyes land on a half-seen headline, a spark of interest cutting through the gloom. Haptic tech. Feel the music, feel the connection. The article details a new wave of technology that promises to elevate music from an auditory experience to a full body one mimicking the sensation of touch with sound waves. Could it be? Sarah's mind conjures images of the Resonance nightclub. Instinctively, her hands reach for her laptop. A quick search, a few more articles. What if, just what, if there's even a fraction of truth in those promises? Could this odd technology fill a tiny part of the void she's feeling? The knot in her stomach loosens slightly, replaced by a sliver of anticipation. Desperation, perhaps? Maybe. But in the face of this relentless loneliness, even a faint chance at connection feels good. Neon lights bleed onto the rain-slicked street outside, still smelling of tapas from the bars nearby. Resonance pulses in the dark night with its neon lights. Sarah steels herself and steps through the door, warmth washing over her as the chill of the night air fades behind. The interior of Resonance assaults the senses, but not unpleasantly. Muted lights play over textured walls that seem to shift in color. The crowd forms a moving mosaic, but instead of the frantic vibes of most clubs, there's an odd sense of calm. The central dance floor thrums with vibrant music, but that doesn't draw Sarah's attention. It's a smaller side room, walls draped in soft fabric, that calls to her. The gentle blue light is almost ethereal. The thrum of the music here is quieter, a deep undercurrent rather than the driving force. She hesitates, suddenly feeling out of place in her jeans and t-shirt, surrounded by people wearing sleek, vaguely futuristic jumpsuits. Yet, the pull towards that quiet room is undeniable. As she edges closer, Sarah begins to feel something beyond the music. A faint, rhythmic vibration touches her skin, a gentle, almost playful sensation rippling through the air. She closes her eyes for a moment, focusing on the sensation. It feels like a comforting weight settles on her shoulders, oddly mimicking the feeling of a friendly, familiar hug. Against all odds, a smile slowly pulls at the corner of her lips. The sensation is so real and tangible that it's hard to believe it's just technology. Sarah opens her eyes to see a club employee standing near the entrance. The woman wears one of the new modern jumpsuits. This is the tranquility zone, she says, her voice soft over the faint ambient music. The haptics here are set low, focused on relaxation like a warm hug from the music. It does feel like that, Sarah admits, surprise lacing her voice. Have they somehow created a sense of touch out of thin air? We hope so, the employee replies, a genuine warmth in her tone. Would you like to step in? Adjusting takes a few minutes, but most people find it quite soothing. Hesitation wars with curiosity, but curiosity is winning. With a slightly shaky nod, Sarah moves into the room, feeling the sensations amplify subtly. It isn't intrusive, not overwhelming. It's like a warm blanket on a winter's day, chasing away the lingering chill in her soul. And then the music shifts. It's still slow and gentle, but the undercurrent carries a wave of something bittersweet. It echoes the melancholy she's been carrying inside, but without the sting, as though the sadness is being acknowledged and then soothed. Tears prick at Sarah's eyes. They aren't tears of despair, but of a strange, beautiful relief. The burden she's carried feels lighter. She isn't alone. The faces around her aren't lit with raucous joy, but with serenity, a hint of tears on more than just her cheeks. The loneliness hasn't evaporated, but for the first time in weeks, it doesn't feel all consuming. The change in Sarah's apartment is subtle but significant. Sunlight seems to find its way into the corners more easily, the stacks of boxes less imposing. A sense of hesitant purpose hangs in the air as Sarah sits cross legged amidst a scattering of old photos. Unlike the first night, the images no longer bring a crushing wave of sadness, but a bittersweet mix of nostalgia and resolve. Beside her sits a sleek, palm sized device, a personal haptic unit designed for home use. She reaches for the device, her fingers tracing the gentle curves that promise connection in the absence of touch. With a tap, the room fills with soft music, not the pulsing beats of resonance, but an achingly familiar melody. It's one of Gran's favorite lullabies, the calming tune echoing through the room and through the haptics. The vibrations are subtle, a rhythmic warmth that pulses against her hand, oddly mimicking the gentle rise and fall of her grandmother's breathing as she cuddled Sarah so many years ago. Tears prick at Sarah's eyes, not stinging ones this time. A smile tugs at the corner of her lips as she closes her eyes and lets the music wash over her. It's not the same as a real hug, but it helps, she whispers. The memory of Gran is still bittersweet, yet the ache is less sharp, replaced by the warmth the simulated touch brings. The loneliness is still present, but the suffocating weight of it begins to lift. I'm less afraid to unpack the memories now. Maybe less afraid to unpack everything, Sarah adds softly as she glances towards the boxes. Sorting through her grandmother's belongings had seemed impossible before, but now it feels less like a burden and more like a tribute.